What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. If you guys are new here, hit that sub button. So today's video, I'm going to be working on the Suzuki GSX 600F, I believe. So yeah, I'm going to be trying to get this bike started. So it's been sitting for I think 20 years, the guy said. No keys. I have to end up taking this off and then jumping the wires basically. And then for the tank, I gotta figure something out for the tank too. I don't know if you could just take these bolts off and the whole thing comes off. I'm not too sure. Another thing is the seat won't come off because the key, no key, so the seat won't come off. So my plan is to get it running, see if the motor's any good or whatever. So look at this. This bike's been sitting for a long time. Look at this. That's nasty. All right, guys, so made some room. Let me start working on this bike. I believe I have to take off the side covers just to get to the carbs, both sides, and I gotta figure out how to take the seat off. So I'm gonna try to get all this stuff off and I'll be right back. So I got the side cover off, the seat off, the gas tank is off. Got all the parts over here just sitting. Trying to be careful so I don't break any of those fairings. So next thing is I have to take this air box out, the carbs out, clean the carbs, drain that gas tank because this gas tank is like full of gas. So I'm gonna have to end up putting this bike on the lift because the screws that are so low on the carbs that I can't even reach them. She's on the lift. Gotta take this side panel off. And the worst thing about it is to take the side panel off, you gotta get all these 10 billion screws out. You gotta get this out. You gotta get these 2 screws off. And you gotta get the screw inside, which is I believe a 14 or a 12. And then it'll slide out, you know. These bikes are something else, but they do look nice. I used to like these bikes when I was younger, but yeah, man, it's a ton of stuff when you're just trying to get to the carbs. You got to take all this plastic fairing off. So I'm gonna take all these screws off, pop that fairing out, get to the carbs and the air filter, and I'll be back. So guys, this is what I was talking about. You see that bolt back there? I'm gonna try to loosen it real quick. You can see I'm loosening it right there. That's what I'm talking about. These bikes have all these fairings and they have to put, like, I don't know if it's just these old bikes, but I prefer these older bikes anyways, but too much fairings on these bikes. I'm gonna take this bolt out real quick because I need both hands, and I'll be back. All right, guys, so the intake box is out and the carbs are out. This thing was a pain to get out. I'm gonna show you this one right here. This screw was all the way pretty much up here, and on the carbs it was sitting right here. So it was like a pretty awkward spot, and so I had to, like, you know, grab pliers and unscrew it from here and then loosen it from the screw, and you couldn't really do it with any tools besides pliers because there's like no space for a wrench to even fit in there. This one came out pretty easy. You just push it forward, spring back, and pull this little piece out. There's some oil in this carb for some reason. I'm not sure. Hopefully this motor's still good. It's not looking too good, so there's oil up here, and that, see, there's oil in there, oil right here on the carb. So it's not looking too good. Another thing that was concerning me was this. I guess there's no dipstick, and this is where you pour the oil up here, and this is where it says the level, full and like low, and it's not even reading. So I might have to get some oil, throw it in there, but I'm gonna open up these carbs, see what I'm working with. So there's a little bit of dried up gas and some oil. And then down here, it looks like just dried up gas. It looks really, really bad. It's like gelled up. It's not even in like a powder form. I'm used to seeing like powdered, but this is what you get from a bike that's probably been sitting for like over 10, 15, 20 years. So I gotta go get some carb cleaner, but I'm gonna do a full clean on all 4 carbs. I'll try to do like a time lapse, show you guys.
A few moments later.
So I got all the carbs cleaned. As you guys saw, them carbs were disgusting. They were so gunky. So I'm gonna throw it on the bike now. Let me clean up this oil residue here. But man, them carbs were really, really bad. So another thing I figured out was, I know when you measure the oil on bikes, you're supposed to like basically measure them without the kickstand being on. So they have to be like, you know, like straight up. And you can see the oil comes all the way back. You see it'll go back down. But so it should have oil, should have a good amount of oil in it. So what I'm gonna do is throw the carbs back on, throw the intake on, pull the spark plugs. And what I'm gonna do is check the spark plugs. Hopefully they're good, and just throw a little bit of PB Blaster into each cylinder so I can lube up the walls, the pistons and stuff, because it's been sitting for so long. I'll crank it a few times without, you know, having gas in it. I'll crank it a few times with the spark plug still out, so I can shoot everything, and you know, the walls of the piston walls can lube up. So let me do that real quick, throw this on, take them spark plugs out, and I'll be back in a few. All right guys, spark plugs are out. So I'm gonna crank it a few times. Just gotta get my jump pack. I'm gonna crank it a few times. So I'm gonna leave the intake off because it was kind of fighting me and it was kind of hard to put it on. So let me get this jump pack real quick, crank it a few times, and I'll be back. Clutch, starter. So it's working. I had one of the spark plugs right here to see if it had a spark. And it has spark, so I'm gonna put the spark plugs back in. I was cranking it for like a good couple seconds to get all that PB Blaster, you know, through the piston walls so it can lube it up. So I'm gonna put all this stuff back together, spark plugs in there, put a little bit of gas, see if it turns on, you know. So I'll be back in a few seconds. All right guys, so I'm gonna start it up, see if she starts. All right guys, so as you can see, she doesn't want to start. I took the intake box off, and it keeps backfiring and loud pops. So I think it's the spark plugs, and I'm not trying to order any spark plugs or waste any money on this bike. So I'm gonna see what I can do. But yeah, I think it's most likely the spark plugs, because this bike was doing it last time, so I had to buy new spark plugs for it, and it started right up. So I gotta see if these spark plugs, if they're under like 10 bucks, I'll order the spark plugs. But so I'll see you guys tomorrow.
Eventually.
All right guys, I got the spark plugs. They just came in the mail. I'm gonna throw them in real quick, and hopefully, fingers crossed, she starts. So let me throw these spark plugs on real quick, back the bike out. All right guys, so the spark plugs are in. All right, so I'm gonna back this thing out. All right, let me put the battery on and see if she wants to start. All right guys, second attempt. Let's see if it stays on. guys seen it. She was running. I was actually accelerating it a few times. Got it to like stay on without the choke being on. And I got to accelerate it, so it's idling good. If you guys want a part 2 to this build, comment down below, give me a thumbs up, whatever, let me know. I got it running and it's been sitting for 20 years or so. Let me know down low in the comments, do you want to see a part 2 or no? Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. See you guys in the next one. Peace.